I think taxpayers deserve to know where the dollars are going that they've already invested in this huge system.
If you don't know who to reach out to, then you reach out to the upper folk and say, who do I reach out to?
When we've invested in our staff, when we've invested in these programs, we have seen historic increases in student achievement.
And it's not just the parents, it's the taxpayers.
Bullying going in the direction of someone that didn't deserve it. I do believe this guy's qualified.
You are living in a world of limited budgets. You don't act like it. You don't spend like it.
We have some very specific issues happening in Fayette County that need to be addressed.
I totally agree with more money. I just hope they spend it a little wiser.
Where do we kind of make these adjustments to vote in a few weeks?
And I don't know how we move forward without rebuilding the trust first.
My priority is to begin building that trust.
Ask you a couple questions?
We got to get back to prep for a board meeting tonight.
Basically, it was like, well, we're just going to silence you.
For the sake of the teachers, for the sake of our parents, and mostly for the sake of our students, please step aside.
Good evening. I'm Kristen Kennedy.
And I'm Kelsey Soto. Thanks for joining us for this special edition of WKYT Investigates District Financial Fallout.
For the last year, the WKYT Investigates team has been digging deeper into Fayette County Public Schools finances.
We've been asking questions about the second largest district in the state after viewers and even employees contacted us with concerns over lavish spending and shrinking budgets.
Last December, we aired a three-part series looking into major expenses, specifically spending on professional travel.
But first, let's introduce you to some of the key names and faces. These are the 5 school board members elected by voters to represent the district. Board Chair Tyler Murphy, Vice Chair Amy Green, Penny Christian, Dr. Monica Mundy, and Amanda Ferguson. The only person that reports directly to them is the superintendent, Dr. Demetris Liggins.
As superintendent, Dr. Liggins knows how important continuing education and professional learning is. It's essential in many businesses, making sure employees get necessary training. But when tax dollars are at stake, each expense can come under scrutiny. We looked at dozens of professional leave requests approved by the board last year, including a trip to Dallas, Texas, where 36 teachers, staff, and board members were approved to attend a conference. The group spent more than $100,000 on hotels, meals, and transportation just at that one conference. Other examples of professional leave included international travel. 2 administrators went to recruit teachers in Puerto Rico. Dr. Liggins and 2 others flew out to Australia for 6 working days. That trip was approved for $7,860 per person. And even more professional spending we uncovered inside the district during an election year, when voters in Kentucky were deciding whether to give charter schools the same funding as public schools. The school board spent more than $46,000 sending 24 teachers to Atlanta to learn at Ron Clark's private school. Ultimately, voters decided against Amendment 2.
Here in Fayette County, more than 70% of voters said no to funding charter schools. Data shows FCPS spends more than $22,500 on each student's education, much higher than the national average of $15,500 and higher than the state average of $18,500. Jim Waters with the Bluegrass Institute says the district has continued to increase its revenue, but believes they really should be spending more responsibly.
We're failing our kids. We're failing our next generation of students. So we have to do better. So what are you going to do with the resources you have? You have plenty of resources. The problem here is not the funding, it's the system. That's the problem.
After our extensive coverage about district spending in early January, some parents started an online petition not to renew the superintendent's contract. His contract was set to expire at the end of June, but school board members were already considering a renewal. His initial 4-year contract started in late July of 2021 with a base salary of $275,000. Rachel Busser organized the petition against his contract renewal. The petition garnered about 1,600 signatures. A few days later, a rival petition popped up defending Dr. Liggins' leadership. More than 2,700 people signed it in support.
It's not just the parents, it's the taxpayers. You don't have to have a kid enrolled in school to be concerned about where your tax dollars are being spent.
I felt there was some bullying going. I'm gonna be totally honest. Bullying going in the direction of someone that didn't deserve it. There's plenty of people that don't do the jobs, not qualified. I do believe this guy's qualified. I believe he's doing a great job.
Ultimately, the board approved and voted 3-2 to renew his contract early. The new contract runs through June 30th of 2029.
It included some of the same amenities like an annual $25,000 to pay for an executive coach and a monthly vehicle allowance. His compensation for 2025 is listed at $392,000.
Coming up, district financial fallout peaks with the surprise vote to raise taxes after a long holiday weekend. Why some parents and board members said they were blindsided by the decision. Welcome back. During a May Fayette County School Board meeting, the community learned about a projected $16 million budget deficit.
It was the first time many were even aware of a potential shortfall. The initial budget proposal was $848.6 million. Board members would have to make decisions whether to increase revenue, reduce expenses, or find a balance between both. Dr. Liggins said part of that gap came from increasing pay for all teachers and hourly staff. He said districts across the country were feeling that strain, including Louisville and Jefferson County. The state's largest district was facing a $188 million deficit.
Then came a surprise over Memorial Day weekend, a vote to raise taxes, a way to deal with the projected deficit. The occupational license tax is an income tax on those who live and work in Fayette County. It's also a net profit tax on businesses. Fayette County's fiscal court oversees the combined 2.25%. The current school district rate is 0.5%. FCPS wanted to increase that to 0.75%, which they are eligible to do in a county with more than 300,000 residents. So for someone making $68,000 a year, it would cost them an additional $170. The board voted 3-2 to raise the rate May 27th. And days later, Attorney General Russell Coleman cited a WKYT report in his ruling, calling that vote unlawful, claiming the board failed to provide the required public notice. After that, the discussion of raising the occupational license tax was tabled. State Senator Amanda Mays Bledsoe represents part of Fayette County and is the one who asked the Attorney General to weigh in.
I think he confirmed what many people in Fayette County felt like, which we were shut out of a conversation about a tax increase. I heard from a number of constituents who reached out to me by text, phone calls, emails, private messengers, asking whether or not the conversation and vote on May 27th was legal.
And soon after, State Auditor Allison Ball announced a special examination of the district's finances. She said she would look into allegations of waste, fraud, and abuse. She plans to ask the legislature to pick up the tab.
Are you being efficient? Are you being wise with your expenditures? It's not just are you at risk for fraud or at risk for someone embezzling. It is a much deeper question.
More than a month after that controversial vote, our Samantha Valentino sat down with the head of the district in late July. She asked Dr. Liggins about his goals for the new school year, about the district's accomplishments, achievements, and their safety plans, as well as the opening of 2 new schools, The Hill and Mary E. Britton, the largest middle school in the state. She also asked about Fayette County's budget shortfall and mounting frustrations over administrative spending.
But at the end of the day, I want our community to know that we're listening. We want to be as transparent as possible. And when we don't get it right, and you don't always get it right, I'm more than willing to say, okay, let's go back and see how we can correct that and make better decisions moving forward.
To try and find solutions to their financial fallout, the district created a budget solutions work group made up of 31 members. After 3 public meetings, they recommended the district use part of the estimated $42 million contingency to make up that difference. But there was a big problem. Weeks later, it was revealed the contingency fund was in fact not $42 million like they were told. Instead, it was closer to $26 million. Since the state requires all school districts keep 2% of their budgets in contingency, their original plan was no longer possible.
I wish more money was going to public schools in general because new things are needed, technology, all kinds of new avenues and new ways to teach kids. So I totally agree with more money. I just hope they spend it a little wiser.
Well, I think what you saw is a consensus that we want just an external independent review and analysis to assess the situation figure out what the internal processes look like, what led us to this point, and then more importantly, moving forward, what can we do to improve?
Now, WKYT has previously covered incidents where weapons made their way into Fayette County Public Schools. Through an open records request, we got copies of all reports of weapons on campus dating back to early 2020. Those records detailed at least 16 instances of a gun on school property. Back in 2018, the district implemented a 10-point safety plan. That plan included installing metal detectors in all middle and high schools. A nickel tax on properties was supposed to fund that $13.5 million school security plan. To date, all of the high schools currently have metal detectors, but none of the middle schools have them. Parents were asking why the delay, especially when they already collected the funding.
It's been 7 years for something as critical as safety to be blatantly ignored. I know every time I have ever entered the Price building, there are metal detectors. And they are mobile metal detectors that can be taken down and put back up. I don't know why those aren't in our schools. And if the priority is to have them in our schools, I don't know why the Price building got them first.
WKYT Investigates started getting tips in late summer about a shakeup at central office, specifically the employment of Budget Director Ann Sampson Grimes. District leaders told us at the time they don't comment on personnel matters, so we asked Grimes' attorney about her sudden departure. In a letter sent to Board Chair Tyler Murphy, her attorney said she was placed on administrative leave as retaliation for warning of a looming budget deficit and for recommending the district make immediate cuts. Her attorney believes it was a violation of the Kentucky Whistleblower Act, and that's why they filed a civil lawsuit.
The environment is very hostile, and if you do not fall in line and you try to bring things to people's attention, then you're sidelined and you're set aside for any decision making. You're not considered part of the team.
The district did hire an independent lawyer out of Ashland to investigate the claims Ann Sampson Grimes made against the superintendent. There was also another legal battle brewing, a fight over eminent domain. Fayette County Public Schools wanted more land to finish the new Rise STEM Academy for girls on Versailles Road. Several property owners sued the district, saying crews were trespassing on their land for months, causing damage and ignoring repeated requests to meet.
Court filings show each property owner was offered a little more than $5,000 for parts of their land, which they all turned down. Attorney Bruce Simpson says the group has been trying for more than a year to work things out with the district.
I've been practicing law for 42 years. I have never had to sue a group of elected officials to get a court order for that body to meet with their constituents.
We have asked to meet with the school board. We have asked to go in and have a discussion. That was denied. It was denied a couple times, and so that's been frustrating.
Do you swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Still ahead, Dr. Demetrius Liggins called to testify before lawmakers in Frankfort. Legislators bring the heat and receipts.
Welcome back. One of the district's biggest expenses is payroll. Fayette County Public Schools serves more than 41,000 students. While enrollment has remained relatively flat over the last decade, the number of staff has increased dramatically.
It's the second largest employer in the county. They have more than 3,100 teachers and more than 2,900 support and administrative staff. So Dr. John Guerin is a professor of economics at the University of Kentucky. He's also an author of a 2024 study on Fayette County Public Schools.
I think it's important to track, okay, let's have some accountability. Let's see, let's shine the light and see what's been going on. A lot of non-teacher staffing has gone up. In fact, by about 50%, half again, since the 1990s. Now, and a lot of that sounds pretty good. When there's more counselors and more librarians and more curriculum development people and so on. But at the end of the day, it's got to have an effect. It's got to improve student outcomes, and we're just not seeing that.
We realized over the summer the interest and attention at school board meetings was growing. Some were so packed the district had to open up an overflow room. Typically, the public could sign up for a 3-minute time slot to speak to the board on whatever they wanted. Well, this was a chance to share thoughts and concerns and even praise, but it started turning into a fact-check exchange. Action meetings were streamed online on the district's YouTube page, and they are archived for future reference. We talked with a former board member about some of the ongoing disputes.
I don't believe there has been truly misconduct in the sense of someone has misspent the money knowingly, someone has done something. But we have a board that has passed an irresponsible budget and has had to continually make up for that.
Well, it's mid-September now, and Dr. Demetrius Liggins makes a visit to the state capitol. Lawmakers requested he appear before the Interim Joint Committee on Education. They wanted an update on the district's budget and finances.
$60,000. That's unbelievable.
He took questions alone in front of 24 legislators. In front of him, a decade's worth of data and budgets. Committee Chair Stephen West, who represents parts of Fayette County, said he was disappointed in the presentation. He said it was full of colorful slides and graphs, but was left unsatisfied, needing more information. A handful of senators and representatives peppered him with questions about the culture in the admin building, what they call excessive spending, and the unaccounted for money.
Is this movement in the right direction?
It seems like it, yes. I mean, and I'm hearing, just talking afterwards, I'm hearing that there are still a lot of questions that they weren't answered and further things they want to ask about.
Ask you a couple questions? Please, we got to get back to prep for a board meeting tonight, but if you'll give me your card, we'll reach out.
Okay. Do you have your card?
I tried to talk with the superintendent after the meeting, but was stopped by an unfamiliar face. This woman, we later learned, was lobbyist Abigail Piper, and told us they needed to get back to prepare for that night's board meeting. We pulled the contract for her firm, Piper Smith. It's worth up to $60,000 a year and was to run through the summer of 2026. We have since learned that contract was terminated early at her request and will end on December 31st. In a post on social media, she claims the district caused damage to her business reputation and cost them thousands of dollars in damages. WKYT Investigates also uncovered that Piper was part of a failed plot to raise the occupational license tax over the summer. The district confirmed they hired her on an additional $38,000 contract to launch a cohesive campaign explaining the need to raise the tax. Some school board members told us they were unaware of the deal because any contracts under $40,000 don't require board approval.
As frustrating as it has been for the community, I think it's been equally frustrating for families, for our teachers, for our staff, and I was elected to represent everyone, and if I could be here, I want to be here to truly get the information firsthand.
Pressure mounts against district leadership. Several Kentucky lawmakers called for resignations. Why legislators said the district lost the public's trust.
Pressure and frustration was growing. At the end of September, several lawmakers called for the resignation of Superintendent Dr. Demetrius Liggins and Board Chair Tyler Murphy.
Republican Representative Matt Lockett, who represents parts of Fayette and Jessamine County, led the charge. He said the public had lost faith in district leadership. Senator Chris McDaniel, the chairman of the Appropriations and Revenue Committee, joined him, as well as Senator Donald Douglas, who was spotted at several board and committee meetings. Representative Vanessa Grossel, who serves Lexington, says she plans to introduce legislation this upcoming session to tighten oversight on school districts.
When we ask ourselves who's left holding, the ball, it's the board chair, and the board chair sets the agenda. I want people to really scrutinize that role and the assistant superintendents and others that were advising in this situation.
Right after the calls for resignation, Democratic Representative George Brown Jr. announced his support for Dr. Liggins, saying the district needed stability. Meanwhile, 5 Democratic representatives who serve Lexington released a joint statement demanding increased transparency. The group said the leadership efforts have been inadequate. That letter went on to say Fayette County families deserve better.
When you put everything that's happened all together in the last 6 to 7 months in this process, it has really shaken the community's trust in the entire process. This is the start of a long process to kind of uncover what has happened, what is going on, and more importantly, how do we fix it moving forward.
So where do things stand now? The board approved a balanced budget in September. We are currently waiting on the results of Auditor Allison Ball's special examination.
She says it's likely we'll get information from her office sometime this spring. Dr. Liggins says the district is doing their own investigation into the contingency fund.
There are also several civil lawsuits still pending. They're making their way through the courts, and we'll continue to track their progress.
We appreciate you joining us for this edition of WKYT Investigates District Financial Fallout. We are grateful for all of the hardworking teachers, paras, principals, and other support staff who work tirelessly to help students each and every day.
A few board members and lawmakers have told us that is why it's so important to make sure that the district is on solid financial footing, so those on the front lines have all the resources they need to succeed.
Feel free to reach out to us with story ideas. All you have to do is send us an email, investigate@wkyt.com, and we'll see you next time.